As the baby boomer generation of missionaries approach retirement, their departure will leave a void in expertise, manpower, and connections that will affect kingdom work across the globe. These missionaries have seen, experienced, and contributed much throughout their careers as their roles continuously evolved in an ever-changing world. During the 70th World Missions Conference, we are honoring 9 baby boomers who committed their lives to foreign missionary service. They are Dave and Gwen Brooks, Jay and Maureen Kyle, Joe and Ann Lyle, Jeff and Misha Marlowe, and Susan Sundin. We thank the Lord for the eternal significance of their lives of service to the kingdom. First Pres is honored to have been a part of their lives and legacies. To God be the glory.
Well, I think God called us both at the same time we were single. It was at the 1973 World Missions Conference in Chattanooga with Stuart Briscoe, and he had an altar call the last night for all those willing to do whatever God called you to do. And we both went down. And then later we discovered that we'd both gone down, and we felt that was the way God was leading us in the same direction.
Yeah, we found out, we were talking, and oh, were you there? Yeah, I was there. And she went forward on one side, I went forward on the other, but we didn't realize it for, I don't know, it was maybe a year later.
No, it was a few months.
And God called us to the foreign mission field, probably started in both our lives at Belhaven College in Jackson, Mississippi. And we helped start an organization called the Student Foreign Missions Fellowship on our campus. And through that, talking with many missionaries over the next 4 years, we came to understand that God was leading us to go into missions.
Basically, our call came through a sort of series of calls. We had a missionary speaker at our church named George Cowan, who was with Wycliffe Bible Translators. And he asked everyone to stand who would be willing to go wherever God led them. And most of our church stood, and so we stood because we wanted to be willing to go if God called. And then a little bit later, I had a job situation where my job was about to change, and I was praying for direction and asking God, what do you want me to do? And one of the things that I prayed about at that time was missions, and I asked God to give us peace about the direction he wanted us to go in. And the thing he gave me peace about was going into missions, which was a big surprise.
Yes.
And then a little bit later, we went to a memorial concert for Keith Green, a musician, and he had challenged many people to go into missions. And at that memorial concert, they asked people to stand if they would be willing to go into missions. And both Ann and I stood at that time.
For me, it was a process. It wasn't all of a sudden stand and that was it. Yes, I'm going to go overseas, but it took years to prepare me for that. And about a month ago, Joe and I were able to speak in chapel to the whole student body, both here and overseas. And at the end of that, we challenged them to stand if they would be willing to go where God would lead. And I'd say a third to a half of them stood. And that was really exciting for us.
So God called us to the mission field early on in our married life as a couple. We felt that we wanted to be a part of building Christ's kingdom globally and overseas. So we talked about it quite often and felt that this was the way to go. And we both felt very much supported by each other in that call. And we wanted to be able to share Christ internationally. We wanted to see churches planted internationally, and we wanted to go to places where people were not going.
Obviously, God was working in the scene before the foundation of the earth, and he used everything in my life to call me into missions. The right family, the right interests, studying Spanish as an 11-year-old on forward. And it really came into my understanding when I became a Christian at First Presbyterian Church and went to my first missions conference, it was like, wow, yeah, I want to know more about this. And from that point forward, we worked on getting me into missions. One Sunday when I was walking through the Hall of Nations and I saw 120 missionaries on the wall, I got really excited. This sense of, this is for me.
World Missions is funded by the faith promise giving of our members and friends. We hope you will prayerfully consider supporting the worldwide outreach of First Presbyterian Church.